I grew up in Canada, and I found myself living in London in my early 20s, and having spent quite a lot of time in the design world. And I met Tessa Strickland, who had come out of adult publishing. She'd been with Random House and Penguin Books, and she had the idea of starting this little children's publishing company. And we wanted our children to be introduced to the wonderfully diverse world we lived in, and we wanted to do that by introducing children to amazing stories and art and music from all over the world. So we got started into the crazy world of publishing. We went out to friends and family, and we raised the money to get our little business off the ground. We worked with storytellers and illustrators from all over the world and launched our very first list of titles in 1993. We then went on to create our first story collections. In 1996, we auctioned the rights of 3 of them to a US publisher, which took our sales from 150,000 in our first year to 1.5 million. That pivotal moment led to a decision to launch Barefoot Books in the US. We decided to launch Barefoot in America in 1998. We were expanding the types of books we were creating, like our early learning books for younger children, and people were starting to notice us. In 2000, we published The Animal Boogie, a sing-along book inspired by a song my little children were singing and dancing to. We added video animations to our sing-along books and have since published more than 30 of them, working with many talented musicians and songwriters around the world. In addition to books, we've explored many other products over the years. One format that's turned out to be fantastic for us is our activity decks. In 2012, we published our first digital app based on our best-selling Barefoot World Atlas book. For most of the last 30 years, our mission to create diverse and inclusive books put us very much on the fringes of mainstream publishing, so we kind of had to think out of the box to get our books into the hands of the families, the educators, the librarians who we knew were looking for the kind of books we were making. We grew a Grassroots network of passionate ambassadors who sold our books in their communities.
It's nice when you find a company and a mission that matches your personal values.
The great thing about Barefoot Books is they touch on so many meaningful, important things.
We've opened community gathering places, which we call studios. For me, Barefoot has always been about more than just making books and selling them. It's really more about a way of life, bringing people together around common values and shared experiences, storytelling, creative crafts, global music and food, performances and art exhibitions, and connecting in our local communities. We've certainly been through many twists and turns and ups and downs on our 30-year Barefoot journey. We've constantly needed to pivot and to adapt and survive. First of all, it was the big box chains, then came Amazon and the internet, and then ebooks and apps, and when people, I think, even thought books were going to disappear altogether. I started Barefoot because I really wanted to make beautiful books for children that made a difference. I think I've stuck with it all of these years, despite what many would say are insurmountable odds and more than my fair share of challenges. Some people would say out of sort of sheer stubbornness or insanity. I like to think that I'm still making a difference with what we're doing at Barefoot. I feel like we're right now in a super strong place because our mission is more relevant today than it ever has been. Today, we're happy to say that I think our perseverance has paid off. People are finally looking for the kind of books we are making, and it's so exciting to see growth across lots of different channels. One of the most rewarding areas of our work for me and for the team is with philanthropic organizations and nonprofits who get our books into the hands of the kids who need them most. I think people are desperately concerned about how we're raising the next generation of empathetic leaders. And I think what we've been saying for our whole lives is now people finally are looking for those kind of books.